Okay, so I want to talk about how k, that value we looked at the last couple of days, affects a graph. We're going to look at how it affects a line in the form y equals k times x and y equals k times x squared. Because k is a significant value, and the more we know about k, the easier it'll be for you to identify certain graphs. So let's start with y equals k times x. First, let's look at our graphing calculators. You don't have to do this, but I've already done this for us. I've created what's called a slider, meaning that this graph is being animated for us. If you notice, here we have our equation, which is in the form y equals k times x. Up here, this is what we call our slider, and as you look, the slider, it's cycling from when k is 0 to when k is 4. And so you can see that as k gets larger, the graph is getting steeper and steeper. Or another way you could look at it is as k gets closer to 0, the less steep or the flatter the line is going to get. So as far as hand motions, because you may not have a calculator in front of you or may not know how to do an animation on your calculator, I'll show you that in the future. It's always easiest to remember with your hands. So here's the x-axis. So the closer that k gets to 0, the less steep the line is going to be. The further away from 0 that the line gets, or that k gets, the steeper the graph's going to be. And remember, that same thing applies to when k is negative. I'm not going to do it on my screen here, but if k is negative, the same thing is going to be true. It's just that it's going to be going down from left to right as opposed to going up from left to right. So let's summarize this. So when k is positive, the line is going to increase from left to right. When it's negative, it's going to decrease from left to right. That should be something that you already know. But as far as what is the value, the higher the value k is, and what's the lower the value the k is, the impact that has on the graph is summarized below there, where it says the farther that k is from 0, the steeper the line is, the closer it is to 0, the flatter the line is going to be. So that's seems simple enough. So let's look at a parabola. Okay, so let me change this to be a parabola now. And you notice some similar things here. As k gets closer to 0, just like we did our hand motions, but with the parabola this time, as k gets closer to 0, the flatter the line is going to be. As k gets further away from 0, the narrower the parabola is going to be. So as you watch that video, you can see that that k is going to get larger, and as a result, the graph gets narrower. So if we summarize that in our notes, again, when k is positive, the graph points upwards. When k is negative, the graph points downwards. And like we just mentioned, the closer k is to 0, the wider the graph's going to be. The farther it is from 0, the narrower the parabola is going to be. So hopefully that helps kind of wrap everything together as far as how k is going to affect your graph, because you will need to identify graphs, and if you don't know how k influences the graphs, you're not going to be able to match the equation with the graphs. So you've already done that a little bit with your assignments, but you'll need to know that in the future.